welcome. The big breaking news here on Rev Sports. Like I said, at 5 p.m. this afternoon, All India Football Federation was likely to issue a press release this evening, and that's coming soon. And the big news is they have decided to terminate the contract of Igor Stimac. Joining me, Rahul Giri. Rahul, first thoughts. Igor Stimac's contract stands terminated. Clearly, this is not the end of the story because the coach can take AIFF to court. They can go to CAS. He can go to CAS. AIFF might have to pay his salary for 2 years, but all that is different from what we know. An email has been sent to Igor Stimac announcing his termination to him. This has happened in the last 15 minutes. After we broke the story, it has been, 10, 12 minutes? That's when it was done. So a big breaking news here on Rev Sports. Igor Stimac's contract stands terminated. Tell me.
I think it's a very brave decision from AIFF because we all saw this coming after the result in the FIFA World Cup qualifier. Though the performance was much better against Qatar, but still, I think every football gig in our country was demanding this decision from AIFF. But then again, we thought that AIFF might not take this decision because, changing the coach is not the ultimate solution. At the same time, AIFF, I think they had to pay around 3 crores. So we all thought that AIFF might not take this decision. They might wait another 5 to 6 months or another year with Igor Stimac at all. But at the end, I think it's a very brave decision from AIFF that they now they have decided to sack Igor Stimac. And as you
Not
said,
almost. Not
now,
almost. Not decided. It's done.
So now it's a post Igor Stimac era. Now we'll have to look forward that who is the new member who will replace Igor Stimac in that hot seat. I think, as far as I know, I think for the next 3 to 4 months, I think we'll continue with Mahesh Gowli, and by that time, I think AIFF will be looking for the new head coach for the Indian football team.
Rahul, tell me something. First let me give the inside details to our viewers. There was a meeting. There was a meeting yesterday. There was a meeting yesterday. There was a meeting today. Secretary General Satya played a very active role. Obviously, the president was taken into confidence and consulted. The technical committee had a role to play. They also consulted leading sports lawyers, from what I understand, because they have consulted leading sports lawyers as to what can go wrong if they do decide to terminate the contract. Because Igor Stimac had told us very categorically that he won't resign, and he has not resigned. This is an AIFF call. So they have consulted sports lawyers also. Last couple of days, they were thinking about it. Shopnil, give us the questions that will come for sure. So that is the inside story, Rahul. And sack complete, yes, Kollol. Yes, he has been sent from what I know. The press release will come any moment. It will come any moment now. And the announcement will be formalized. But from what I know, an email has been sent to Igor Stimac about half an hour back. And that email announces his termination to him. From what I also know, the Secretary General had spoken to Igor Stimac. This is day before yesterday. So there was a round of conversation, informal conversation, that had happened between the Secretary General and the coach. And obviously no ice was broken. But today the AIFF has decided to sack Igor Stimac, and it's the end of the road. I had said this. Amartya Chakraborty was actually watching the show then. I had said this multiple times at 5 p.m. when I did the live, Rahul, that this is going to come. There is a big press release that's going to come. Shopnil, in fact, was laughing, saying, you finish your football story. So this was supposed to come. Snehashish also joins us. Snehashish, what's your first reaction? The AIFF has decided to terminate Igor Stimac.
I think it was on the cards, and because many fans also were also wanting this to happen, because me and Rahul were in the Afghanistan match also, and after that loss against Afghanistan, I think fans were very clear that they don't want Igor Stimac to continue as the head coach of the Indian national team. But I think things could have been different if India would have won that India would have won that last game. But I think what they have to decided, because it was clearly on the cards.
Snehashish, your voice is not very clear, so just sort out your audio. Rohan, if you could push back a little bit because your head is getting a little cut, just a little bit back. Rohan, first thought, you just reached home. Yes.
I just reached home. I haven't changed yet, but it's really a shocker. I was not hoping for this. I was hoping Igor Stimac to continue with the job with the national team. I think it was needed that Igor Stimac got another chance with the bunch of players that he has been training for so long. I don't know how much time will the new coach, whoever comes, will take to adjust with the team. But um, I don't know. But AIF did what they felt was best, but it was really a shocker.
Yeah, once again, let's just reiterate this. Big breaking news on Rev Sports Global and Rev Sports on all our platforms. We are live. It all comes first here. I mean, and we gave you first. We told you at 5 p.m. Rohan was here in the studio, as was Tehashish, and I kept saying a big breaking is coming, a big breaking is coming, and it has happened. AIFF has sacked Igor Stimac. Rahul tells me that he was not expecting. Let me also say this: till about 7 p.m., the coach did not know. The coach did not have an idea. And by the way, I had a chat. I asked, have you been officially sort of communicated? And then, from what I understand, an email has been sent by the AIFF to the coach announcing his termination. We will see if there is an official reaction coming from that side. So far, nothing. I'm sure the coach will want to consult his lawyers and figure out what he
But
needs
what
to
will
do.
happen to that clause?
Yeah.
What will happen to that clause? What will happen to that clause of paying him 2 years of salary?
That is what I was telling. That is what I was telling Rahul. That I am pretty much sure on this. I'm pretty much sure on this that AIFF has consulted legal luminaries. From what I understand, yeah, AIFF has indeed consulted legal luminaries. I know for a fact that they were speaking to my friend Nandan Kamath as a legal luminary. They were also contemplating that it's T-match this live has to go in Rev Sports. Can you please make sure, Rohan, this live is going in Rev Sports English also? I have told Shopnil that this live has to go. Why is this not going? Shopnil, how many times will I say this here? Please, can you add the stream, Rohan? Is it possible to add the stream to Rev
Yeah,
Sports, the platform?
it's yeah. I'm taking it.
Can you add it?
Yeah, I'm going back end.
Okay, so while you do that, let me go to Rahul. Rahul, they have consulted lawyers. Clearly, they have taken a little bit of time. They analyze the pulse of the country. They realize that the fans are not with Stimac, media is not with Stimac, and have taken the call. Do you think it's a correct call? Before I ask Snehashish the same question.
I would say it's a moderate call. I think I won't go with. I won't decide whether it's a fair or unfair call. But now, as they have sacked Stimac, I would say I think they need to bring someone who should take the responsibility of changing the Indian football map in the next 4 to 5 years. Uh, I think 70% of the country was in favor of the decision to sack Igor Stimac, whereas 30% were talking about things. What's the solution after sacking Igor? Know that the sacking Goshima is not the ultimate solution. I think because there are many other instances in the Indian football like grassroots, age sport, club football, number of clubs. These are the matters what will decide the fate of Indian football in the upcoming years. So sacking Igor Stimac, though was not a solution, but now I think what Igor Stimac has produced in the last 5 years, I think the only success has been qualifying for the AFC Asian Cup. So I think because team has had to be the scapegoat after all these 5 years of Indian football.
It was going
Uh,
from the English Twitter
yeah.
also. It was actually
No, no,
the
no, no, Rohan, one second, one second. There is a bit of a mistake there. There is no question mark. It's a definitive sacking. Let's make
yeah.
it clear. No question mark. We have broken the news, sharpened, it's done. So let's tell our viewers very categorically it's done. The sacking is done. They have terminated the contract of Igor Stimac, so there is no question mark there. I mean, there is no question mark at all. Anyway, so let me go to Rohan on this. Your first thought before we go to Snehashish. বাংলাতেও করবো বাংলা ইংরেজি মিলিয়ে কর
Yeah. As I mentioned, I was not hoping that this would happen. আমি ভাবছিলাম একটু টাইম দেওয়া যেতে পারে, বাট অ্যাগেন যেটা রাহুল বললো যে হ্যাঁ যদি দ্য নাম্বার অফ সাকসেস যদি দেখতে হয় দেন দ্য এএফসি এশিয়ান কাপ কোয়ালিফায়ার্স ছাড়া and those three domestic মানে tournaments যেটা আগের বছর জিতলাম আমরা, কন্টিনেন্টাল কাপ and সাফ কাপ, but those are the things that we do generally win. So ওটা সেরকম বড় কোনো সাকসেস হিসেবে ধরা আই গেস যায় না। বাট আমি যেটা বললাম, যে বারবারই যেটা বলছি, again a new coach will have to come and adjust to the new system, the whole system, প্লেয়ারদেরকে চিনতে হবে, and that will again take another 1.5 or 2 years. So সেটা কত তাড়াতাড়ি হয় সেটাই আমার দেখার, এটাই আমার বক্তব্য, and I really I'm looking forward to what happens to that clause now, because
Yeah,
I'm sure that
I
not
don't,
in
I don't see this as the end of the story. I
uh,
don't see this as the end of the story. I also see this as Stimac now consulting his lawyers. Trisha Ghoshal is saying, is AIFF doing the same mistake that they did in 2019? Rahul Giri, take that.
I think this is not only in 2019. I think the AIFF had also made this mistake while they have hired Stephen Constantine. I think it's not only on the hand of the national team head coach. I think, as I mentioned every time, that it's the fate of Indian football is to be decided by many other instances in the backstage, starting from grassroots, league system, women's football, everything. So I don't think it's a rely on only on the head coach of a national team. But as now they have decided to sack Stimac, I think now they need to take a bold decision, because as they always talk about the Vision 2047, so far in the last 2 years, I haven't seen any initiative from the AIFF, that augurs well for the Indian football in the upcoming years. So as now they have sacked Stimac, I think they need to make a bold decision. I think first of all they need to hire a coach who knows the Indian football very well. I think that's what will augur well for Indian football. At least I think they need to offer some coach who have coached the ISL side at least, because or else again any new coach who will come like Igor Stimac, who hardly has any idea about the Indian football. Again, he will take around 2 to 3 years, in knowing the map of Indian football. And in 2 to 3 years, I don't know whether Indian football team will, go below 150 or not in the world football ranking. So I think as now AFF has taken such a bold move by sacking Igor Stimac, I think they at the same time they also need to decide someone who has the capability to take Indian football forward in the upcoming years.
So 3 points there from Rahul. ISL experience, knowing Indian football. Amartya Chakraborty, you know what, guys? Igor has been trying to manage our team, focusing more on short passes instead of long balls. This approach is significantly better than what Stephen implemented. Okay, that's one question. Indranil, new coach. Can it be Manuel Marcus Roca or Juan Ferrando? Who's the new coach? Somebody had to be made scapegoat. Again, Indranil. Rohan, you want to take a bite? Who can be the new head coach?
I see one comment from Orko Ghosh, Ashley Westwood. I think my personal choice, Ashley Westwood, is a good candidate. We have seen him take charge of the Afghanistan side in short time, and he has delivered for the side. They have uh, hold in their defense against India, won a match. He has proved himself in the domestic circuit, have success with BFC. He knows Indian football well. Ashley Westwood can be a good candidate, but we have to see who. And I really back Rahul's point of bringing in a coach from ISL circuit, because he won't take that much of a time to understand the whole Indian football
So
scenario.
one thing is Ashley Westwood good option, Orko Ghosh. That's the
Yeah,
question we just
that's that's
addressed.
what that's what I said.
But Rahul, point is also from what you are telling me, what Rohan is telling me. Are we then saying that it is not an Indian coach? Are we clear about that?
Yeah,
Can we say that?
absolutely clear. Absolutely clear.
So it's not an Indian coach. Both of
Yeah.
you report football. So let me ask you both this question. So not an Indian coach, both of you. Rahul, you go first.
Yes. Few days ago, also I was reading multiple reports, and it was mentioned clear on those reports that for the next 3 to 4 months, I think Mahesh Gowli to take charge as an interim manager. But after that, the IFA will be looking for some overseas coach, because you know I think Indian coach is okay with the grassroots program or with the reserve team. It's still reserve team or age category team. It's still okay with the Indian coach. But when it's about national team, I think the coach or the Indian players who are recent in the Indian football circuit, they hardly have experience of coaching in the national level only. I think none of them have any kind of experience to coach in the international level. international level. So that's where I think we need to bring in overseas coaches, because either from Europe. Uh, I think Europe is the only option, because we all know that Europe has taken, a long stride in football map. So that's why I think we need to bring coaches from Europe, because they know, the every aspect how they can develop the Indian football circuit. So that's why I think the India need to bring some foreign coach. For now, it's okay with Mohesh Bali, because he know every part of the Indian football team, because he has been working under Igor Shimon in the last 3 to 4 years. But after that, I think AIFF needs to decide on bringing someone from Europe or some other developed football nation.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and somebody is saying he's been made. Indranil Rai Chaudhary is saying, okay, Karan Rathore, when will our football rise? Should IFF be independent body like BCCI? Don't take it.
BCCI, it's not absolutely necessary to compare BCCI and AIFF. BCCI organizes. BCCI is a body that is almost rich as much as rich as FIFA, and AIFF has to rely on mostly on Reliance money. But it is absolutely not necessary to compare the two bodies. But yes, what we can do is, as Rahul mentioned also about the grassroots system, that bring in more Indian coaches from the grassroots systems who understand the localities, who can bring in players and develop the youth category, age category teams. And for the national team, head coach, yes, absolutely bring in a coach, especially mainly from the European circuit, uh, who has the experience of managing higher level teams. It's very important because it is evident that if you look into the ISL sides and even I League sides, that head coaches are mostly 80% head coaches are foreign coaches. Only Khalid Jamil, I think,
Khalid
is
Jamil.
a head coach in ISL, and I don't know if any other team has a Indian head coach. Even Shankolal Chakraborty also, I think, head coach of the Punjab. I don't think he's the head coach of the main team. He's the head coach of the reserve team. So it is evident that teams do prefer foreign coaches for one reason, that they
Rahul,
have
take this. Foreign coach Roca is the best option.
Albert Roca. Yeah, he is a good option. I think
Wasn't
as
this guy the one in contention with Stimac when Stimac got the job, Rahul?
Absolutely, you are right. Of course, Albert Roca, I think we all have watched what kind of football, the team plays whenever they play under Albert Roca. And of course, you can bring some Spanish touch, or I think, of course, he will be a great option. But at the same time, I think there are other coaches as well in the ISL who I think can be, better choices than Albert Roca. Like you take Sergio Lobera, you take Manolo Marquez. Uh, Not only their football play style, but these guys have. I think they have gave opportunity to the youngster of the team. They have brought out some to more than I think 4 to 5 talents from the reserve team. I think that's where lies the key for any coach, to take the team forward. So, of course, Albert Roca is an option, but not only Albert Roca, but there are many other options when if you see in the Indian football circuit.
Yeah, and
Whether
interestingly,
do we have any reaction from Stimac yet?
I spoke to Stimac. I'm putting it on record. He didn't know. He didn't know till the. So when I
Yeah,
called and said coach first reaction, coach
but
first reaction.
what
After that, his phone
what he's
changed.
going to do now?
I
How
think
he,
he'll go to court. I think he'll go to court. From what I understand, he will obviously vet his legal options. He will ask for the 2 years salary. There will be a negotiation there because AIFF is in no position to terminate the contract based on the existing contract without paying him the 2 years salary. If they don't do it, there will be a negotiation there. They've now terminated it. So he might go to court. He might go to CAS. But as I said, he did not know. When I called him, the moment I got to know and we were about to tweet the news, I called Rahul first, I called you, and I called Igor Stimac saying reaction. He said, what reaction? I said, you've been terminated. So I actually told him that. So he said, what are you talking about? So that's when said he didn't know, and then obviously he's been sent an email. So that is how. So AIFF has done it quite planned. This was in the offing. I broke the news at 5 p.m. So I can tell you this, but from what I understand, he will have his legal options open, and anyone will. Anyone who's a professional, if he doesn't get the money, he might just take them to court. He was about to send the report. I can also putting on record that the general secretary spoke to Igor Stimac 48 hours back, and this was the plan that he will send the report and they will vet it by a 5-6 member committee and then take it forward. So who knows whether he will give a scathing report, what he talks about, will he talk in the public domain, will he give interviews, will he talk? So these are questions that we don't know yet, but pretty much sure that he will absolutely weigh his legal options. He will weigh his
And
legal options.
and AFF এর নিজের মাথাতেও কোনো পরবর্তী কোচের কোনো চিন্তা এখনো নেই, জাস্ট দে টুক দ্য ডিসিশন এন্ড জাস্ট
এক্ষুনি
পাবলিশড।
আসে বলে আমার অন্তত মনে হয় না, আমার অন্তত মনে হয় না, কারণ এইটা এআইএফএফ তিনটে চারটে বিচার করে করেছে। এক, ভারতীয় ফুটবল নিয়ে একটা চারিদিকে নেগেটিভিটি তৈরি হয়ে গেছিল, সেই নেগেটিভিটিটাকে কাটানোর জন্য এমন একটা কোনো স্ট্যান্ড নেওয়া দরকার যেদিকে অ্যাটেনশনটা ঘুরে। এক্ষুনি কোনো ফুটবল নেই যেখানে তাদের কোচের প্রয়োজন হতে পারে। সো এখন যাকেই তারা অ্যাপয়েন্ট করুক তারা একটু সময় পাবে, যেটা রাহুল বলছে একদম ঠিক বলছে, যে মহেশ গাউলিকে দিয়ে 3-4 মাস তারা চালিয়ে নিতে পারবে, তার মধ্যে তারা অ্যাপয়েন্টমেন্টটা করবে। তারা এটাও বুঝতে পারছে যে মিডিয়া এবং দর্শক ফ্যান্স তাদের কাছে স্টিম্যাচের গ্রহণযোগ্যতা কমে গেছে গত বছরের তুলনায়। গত বছর যদি তুমি এই সময়টা দেখো, জুন মাসে এশিয়ান গেমসের আগে স্টিম্যাচের গ্রহণযোগ্যতা এবং এখনকার গ্রহণযোগ্যতা আকাশ পাতাল তফাৎ। সো এআইএফএফ সেই অ্যাডভান্টেজটা নিয়েছে। এআইএফএফ জানে যে এখন যদি তারা স্টিম্যাচকে স্যাক করে, মিডিয়া এবং পাবলিক তাদের ফেভারে যাবে। তুমি যদি সোশ্যাল মিডিয়াতে আমরা খবরটা ব্রেক করার পরে রিয়াকশনটা দেখো, একের পর এক মিম উল্লাস হচ্ছে। সো এই রিয়াকশনটা ভেবে নিয়েছিল যে এটা হবে, এটার বেসিসে এরা করেছে। রাহুল, রোহান বলো।
এই যে আমাদের যেটা কথা হচ্ছিল যে পজিটিভ রিয়াকশন আসছে, জোয়ান ডোন্ট হ্যাভ প্রপার ম্যানেজমেন্ট, কল্যাণ চৌবে নাকি।
আমার মনে হয় এই রিয়াকশনটা এক্সপেক্টেডই ছিল, কারণ তুমি যদি দেখো যেটা লাস্ট 4-5 বছর অবশ্যই মানে আমরা যদি দেখি, হ্যাঁ একটা দিক যদি দেখা যায় যে অবশ্যই আমরা 2019-এ স্টিম্যাক আসার আগে আমরা একটা দুটো পাস খেলার পরে লং বল খেলতাম উপরে, সেখানে কিন্তু আজকে কিন্তু আমরা 5টা 6টার বেশি পাস খেলি। এই ইমপ্রুভমেন্টটা অবশ্যই হয়েছে, বাট সেখানে একটা সময় অনেকটা সময় এক্সপেকটেশন ছিল।
ইনফ্যাক্ট আরেকটা যেটা পজিটিভ চেঞ্জ আমি দেখেছি স্টিমাচের আন্ডারে, সেটা হচ্ছে অ্যাটিটিউড অফ দ্য প্লেয়ার্স। প্লেয়াররা কিন্তু এখন ভয়ে ভয়ে লুকিয়ে থাকার ব্যাপারটা অনেকটা চলে গেছে। একটা ভুল ডিসিশন হলে তারা প্রোটেস্ট করতে যায়। দিস ইজ ওয়ান পজিটিভ চেঞ্জ যেটা স্টিমাচ এগেন অ্যান্ড এগেন টাইম অ্যান্ড এগেন বলেছে, যে উই হ্যাভ টু ফাইট ফর আওয়ার রাইটস, বাট মানে আমাদেরকে নিজেদের সাহসটা দেখাতে হবে। আই থিঙ্ক এই পজিটিভ চেঞ্জটা কল্যাণ ইগো স্টিমাচ এনেছে টিমের মধ্যে। বাট এগেন আমি জানি না যে এরপরে এটা ঠিক ডিসিশন হলো কিনা, আমি এখনো শিওর না।
রাহুল, তোমার কি মনে হয় এটা ঠিক ডিসিশন হলো না হলো না? তুমি হাসছো মুচকি মুচকি।
টু বি অনেস্ট, যদি রেজাল্ট না দিতে পারো ইন্ডিয়ার মতন একটা কান্ট্রিতে, তো তোমাকে মানে জায়গা থেকে সরে দাঁড়াতে হবে কিছু করে, কারণ 5 বছর ওয়েট করেছি আমরা লাস্ট যখন ইগোস্টি ম্যাচেতে স্টিন্ট ছিল সেটা 3 বছরের মধ্যে একটা ডিসিশন নেওয়ার কথা ছিল এআইএফএফ এর, তখন কিন্তু এক্সটেনশনটা করেছিল এইভাবেই যে এআইএফএফ এশিয়ান কাপে হয়তো পজিটিভ রেজাল্ট আসবে। আর আমাদের কারণ এটা এক্সপেকটেশন ছিল না যে এআইএফএফ এশিয়ান কাপে আমরা গিয়ে জিতবো, বাট অ্যাটলিস্ট এইটুকুনি এক্সপেকটেশন ছিল যে অ্যাটলিস্ট আমরা একটু ভালো ফুটবল খেলবো, অস্ট্রেলিয়া বলো, সিরিয়া বলো, উজবেকিস্তানের সামনে অ্যাটলিস্ট আমরা লড়বো। বাট সেখানে কিন্তু সেই পজিটিভ অ্যাটিটিউডটাও কিন্তু দেখতে পাইনি আমরা সেখানে। আর সেখানে ওয়ার্ল্ড কাপ কোয়ালিফায়ার, যেখানে আমার মনে হয় এর আগে ইন্ডিয়া কোনোদিন এত ইজি সুযোগ পায়নি এর আগে কোনোবার, তো সেখানে এইবার একটা সুবর্ণ সুযোগ ছিল। শুধু আফগানিস্তানকে হারাতে পারলে, আফগানিস্তান এগেইনস্টে যদি 4 পয়েন্টও আসতো সেখানে আমাদের
ড্র হলো, চলে যেতাম আমরা।
তো সেইটাই সেখানে ফেল করলো। তো আমার মনে হয় এরপর তো আমার মনে হয় না দর্শকরা অন্য কোনো দিক ভাববে, কারণ অবশ্যই মানে ওরা এমনি লাস্ট 10 বছর ধরে ওয়েট করে আছে কবে ইন্ডিয়ান ফুটবল সেই গোল্ডেন ইয়ার্স আসবে, তো সেখানে যে এটা এতটা ডিলে হয়ে গেল, তো আমার মনে হয় এই রিয়াকশন গুলো এক্সপেক্টেড ছিল।
বুড়িদা, উই হ্যাভ আ সুপার চ্যাট। একটা সুপার চ্যাট আছে, একটা সুপার চ্যাট আছে, সুপার চ্যাট। সো
সেই আমি প্রথমে যেটা ভেবেছিলাম টিপ, এটা বুঝিনি আমি প্রথম দিন।
টপ 10 প্রাইম টিভি চ্যানেল থেকে আমাদের সুপার চ্যাট পাঠিয়েছে 100 রুপিজের। সো দ্য কোয়েশ্চেন ইজ দেয়ার আ পসিবিলিটি টু ইনক্লুড আ জাপান অর আ কোরিয়া কোচ? উই নিড টু চেঞ্জ আওয়ার প্লেইং ফিলোসফি। এনি পসিবিলিটি? হুম ডু উই রিচ আউট ফর? হুম ডু উই রিচ আউট টু? জাপান এন্ড কোরিয়া থেকে আমাদের ইন্ডিয়াতে কোনো কোচ এসছে কি কখনো এর আগে সেরকম ভাবে?
I think never, but if you look at this, then I think it will be really a positive approach, to be honest, because in the recent time, Japan and Korea is the only team apart from Australia and other Middle East nation that I think every Asian football nation are looking forward to, because in the last 20 years how the Japan and Korean football team have improved, I think they have set an example for other nation in Asia. So why not bring someone from Japan and Korea, but at the same time while bringing someone from those countries we'll also have to look about the budget, whether AIFF can whether AIFF are really capable of bringing someone from those countries or not.
একটা কথা বলে দিই, let's make this clear. You heard it first on Rev Sports Global and Rev Sports. So kindly subscribe to the platform. Kindly subscribe to the platform, and we can justifiably say all the football websites, 7 Football, ND Stoppage, everybody has attributed the news to us. As you can see, it was our break. And our friend Marcus Margulha also did the news sometime later. So it was, so that's the point that we are trying to make, that we will bring you all news. We will bring you all news and all the inside news as to what exactly is transpiring. We have been on this story from day one. If you see, that night I asked him the question, are you going to resign? Are you going to resign? Rohan, if you can tell Shopnil if he can play that Stimac interview, that comment when I asked him that night in Qatar. We have that audio interview. If Shopnil, if you are listening, if you are backstage, can you WhatsApp me? Can you play that? That is the last Stimac interview, by the way. That is the last interview to any Indian media organization, and there is a direct question there: are you going to resign? Are you going to resign? So, and his answer was, we will see federation, etc. So, Shopnil, you can play that today also at 5 p.m. Rohan, you were there, Snehashish was there, and I kept saying at 7 p.m. wait for the press release, wait for the press release. So kindly subscribe to the platform, subscribe to Rev Sports YouTube channel. At the rate, Shopnil, if you could flash that. If you
And
could
also,
flash that.
Boriada, why don't we announce that our Twitter has been compromised few days ago, and
At the new Twitter handle, that is what I'm asking Shopnil to flash. At the rate Rev Sports Global. At the rate Rev Sports Global is where we broke the news. If you want it first, please follow. Please follow, because this is not the only news break. We will break every possible news that we can for you and give you authentic news. Give you authentic news. We tried to, by the way, we are not taking a stand. We broke the news as it happened. Good, bad, ugly, you decide. We called the coach, we called AIFF, we wanted a reaction, we were told a press release is coming. So let's be clear about it. Let's be clear about it. So we
Yes, it is confirmed.
Confirmed.
It is confirmed.
It is confirmed.
Yeah. So let's take a few comments.
Press release টা এখনো আসেনি না?
no,
Press release
AIFF has announced. AIFF has just released the article.
Press release টা flash কর.
করছি. Zico was coach with Goa. He is TD with the J League club.
Can you forward the press release to me?
হ্যাঁ করছি.
Forward the press release to me. Because let's read it out. Forward the press release, and একটা কথা ভাই বলে দিই, যদি আমরা খবরটা ব্রেক করি না সেটা কিন্তু কনফার্ম, ও হাফ ব্রেক খবর ব্রেক করব না, এইটা কিন্তু জেনে নিন। এইটা একদম জেনে নেবেন যে যদি আমরা রেভ স্পোর্টসে খবর ব্রেক করি, যদি বরিয়া, রাহুল, রোহান খবর ব্রেক করে, এন্ড অফ স্টোরি, খবর। AIFF terminates the services of head coach Igor Stimac. Senior officials of the All India Football Federation held a virtual meeting on 16 June 2024. Meeting was chaired by Vice President Haris. Others were Menla, Ethenpa, Anil Kumar Prabhakaran, I M Vijayan, Climax Lawrence, and M Satyanarayana. Noting that the disappointing outcome of the senior men's national team 2026 qualification campaign, members unanimously agreed that a new head coach would be best placed to take the team forward. Meeting instructed Acting Secretary General Satyanarayana to notify the current head coach Mr. Igor Stimac of his decision to terminate the engagement. Pursuant to the above, a notice of termination has been issued to Mr. Stimac by the AIFF Secretariat, and he stands relieved of his obligations with immediate effect. The AIFF thanks Mr. Stimac for his service to the national team and wishes him well in his future endeavors. Lot unsaid. Lot remains unsaid in this. Rohan put this out as a tweet. As I said, this is not a mutual parting of ways. এটা একসাথে mutual parting of ways নয়. This is a termination. This is a one-sided termination. Stimac can now go to court, can demand 24-month salary, can get into a negotiation, can take AIFF to court in cash, stands a heavy chance of winning that case because the contract is heavily loaded in his favor. But AIFF clearly has analyzed the pros and cons, analyzed the overwhelming public sentiment in their favor, and have taken this call. So we flashed the press release. It is confirmed. Rohan, tweet it out. Tweet it out. It is confirmed and it's done.
But tell me one thing. So suppose Stimac now goes to the court and wins. Now AIFF এর কাছে টাকা নেই তাকে পে করার, বললো কন্টিনিউ উইথ হ্যাঁ
এমন
না
না 6 কোটি টাকা AIFF এর কাছে আছে, ডোন্ট ওয়ারি, তাহলে তো ব্যাংক্রাপসি ডিক্লেয়ার করতে হয়।
6 কোটি টাকা দিয়ে আরেকটা কোচকে আবার 6 কোটি টাকা দিয়ে আনতে হবে, মানে 12 কোটি টাকা ধার।
3
12 কোটি টাকাও আছে, এমন নয় যে
6 কোটি না 3 কোটি?
বাজেটটা বলে দিই, এক মিনিট, বাজেটটা বলে দিই। গত বছর ছিল 210 কোটি টাকা, সাজি প্রভাকরণ যখন ছিলেন কিছুটা লস হয়েছিল। এবছর দ্য বাজেট ওয়াজ রিডিউস টু প্রথমে 160 কোটি টাকা, তারপরে টু 135 কোটি টাকা। সো AIFF এর বছরের বাজেট ইজ 135 crores, not 3 crores or 6 crores. So let us be clear, 135 crores, and Kalyan Chaube is a BJP functionary. All of the others are senior, well placed. 135 crores is the budget. They know what they are doing. So clearly, I mean, ওটা এমন নয় যে 6 কোটি টাকার জন্য তারা দিতে পারবে না বা ব্যাংক্রাফট হয়ে যাবে বা দেউলিয়া হয়ে যাবে, সেটা হবে না। বাট ক্লিয়ারলি, and তাই জন্যই আবার ফর আর ভিউয়ার্স বলে দিলাম, গত বছর দ্য বাজেট ওয়াজ 210, it was a loss. Now who is this again? Why is this yellow?
Another 200 rupees super chat. Can Boria please hold on an interview with M. Satyanarayan and ask him what he thinks about Korean and Japanese coaches? Also, can you interview Mr. Satyanarayan? We need them to be more transparent.
Okay, let me answer this. I've actually spoken to Satya several times in the last few days, and I'm putting that on record. I've spoken to him. I've spoken to him every day. I have asked, what is the stand? Formally, as a journalist, I've done my job and I've asked, what is the stand? And you know, AIFF, it was pretty evident to me, and he did it the right thing. He said, we will put out a press release. You will know. So I have, and of course I will want to interview him. Of course I want to interview him to understand what is the way going forward. What is his vision? What is the technical committee's vision? What is the vision of the AIFF? They need to tell us fans. They need to tell us journalists. They need to tell you people, for sure. So I will 100% ask Satya as to what is going on, but I can put it on record that Satya did speak to Stimac 48 hours back. And a kind of an amicable settlement was tried. আমাদের ফ্যাব্রিজিও রোমানো না, ভাই কোনো রোমানো না, ওটা রাহুল আর রোহান। আমার কাজ ওদেরকে একটু হেল্প করে দেয়, আমি ওই হেল্পটা করে দিই। সো এখনো আরেকটু ওরা বড় হয়ে গেলে, আরো 2-3 বছরের এক্সপিরিয়েন্স হয়ে গেলে আর করবো না, তখন বাড়িতে চুপচাপ বসে থাকবো। এই অ্যাক্টিভ জার্নালিজম করতে আমার ভালো লাগে না, বিন্দু মাত্র ভালো লাগে না। খবর আর আজকাল আর খবর করতে ভালো লাগে না, বাট এটা একটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট খবর ছিল ফর ইন্ডিয়ান ফুটবল, কে কোচ হবে, কিভাবে হবে। সো এটা রেভ স্পোর্টস এর ব্রেক করার দরকার ছিল, কারণ দেখুন আমরা মাল্টি স্পোর্ট লিড করি, উই ক্লেম, আমাদের টুইটার হ্যান্ডেলটা পড়ুন @RevSportsGlobal. We are India's best multi-sports platform. If we claim to be the best, then we have to be the best. So it was important that we followed this news. আজকে রাহুলের অফ ডে ছিল, তাও he has joined live. Rohan has just gone back home after a 6-7 hour long meeting. He has joined live. That's the commitment that we have. Simple. Swapnil, have you gotten that interview ready?
Is downloading. I will play shortly.
Please play it, because we want to play that last 2 questions. That's all. So, and by the way, our cricket correspondents are doing the job in the West Indies. Our cricket correspondents are doing the job in the West Indies. You will soon get to hear from Devashish Sen and the others. So that is our commitment. Multi-sport, not simply this. I will also.
The audio is ready. Should we play?
Play.
Be eliminated in such a way after playing so good football, controlling the game, dominating Qatari team, which is very talented. But many people forget that we are not much older than them. Our boys are young also. So we proved tonight that India has a bright future, that we are now a different team which can play 3-4-3, which can play 4-2-3-1, which can adapt to anything what is awaiting us on the pitch. But we also need people who will protect the game. And FIFA needs to sort these things out. And I'm not blaming FIFA, but I'm saying in the future these things shouldn't happen. Because to get out of the competition in such way with the regular goal, after having everything in our hands, it's painful, you know. And I hope it will never happen.
Coach, what was the reaction of the players? What was the reaction of the players when you met them in the dressing room?
It was unbelievable. They couldn't believe this happened to us. They just couldn't believe it. First I checked with Gurpreet, he told me clearly, coach, the ball was whole out, you know. There was nothing to do, and I was, you know, they're just waiting to take the ball, then player brings the ball back and the other player scores and referee gives the goal. And then I went to check on TV and Well, that's what you gonna say? What you gonna say?
And
I cannot blame my boys for being honest, for being honest football players tonight, representing in such a wonderful way. I think that every follower and football fan can be proud on our boys tonight. I'm very proud of them.
I spoke to Sandesh and he said the same. He said he was shocked and disappointed, but he was proud of the way the boys played.
Dear Boria, because these boys need protection. And that's not something I can give them as a coach, you know. So things will be discussed next couple of weeks. I spent 5 years without so we can have a fresh air. Clear that we have several options for the striking and that we promise.
Coach, your voice was breaking there. I know the connection isn't great, but can you repeat? I mean, because I lost you there for a second. Have you given it any thought? Did the boys ask you to stay on? Have you given it any thought?
We had our internal discussion in the dressing room, and I said to them that I will discuss all the possibilities with leading people in the federation and see how they see the situation, and then I will decide what to do.
I spoke to the president and I've tweeted already. The president told me on record, and you can check Rev Sports, that they're speaking to Trevor Kettle, the chief refereeing officer, and figuring out the clause with which they can protest officially to FIFA. Any word on that?
No, that's a positive thing to do, you know, because we cannot allow these things happening in football these days. In the organization who is very rich, have enough resources to stop such things happening, which got nothing to do with the fair play. Although Qatari players should behave different, because if they grow up cheating like...
Mute.
Let me break this down on Rev Sports. Igor Stimac is consulting his lawyers, and he had given AIFF a suggestion that he will leave without compensation, without anything, provided AIFF senior management also takes responsibility and resign. That's what I'm breaking on Rev Sports. Igor Stimac had given AIFF the option that yes, if you are saying that I need to take responsibility and resign, you guys are equally responsible, for y'all had failed a number of promises. So if y'all, Rohan, can you tweet this? Igor Stimac had given AIFF the option, breaking on Rev Sports. Igor Stimac had given AIFF the option that I will resign and take responsibility, leave without compensation, provided the AIFF senior management also takes responsibility of this failed campaign and resigns. Obviously, that has not happened. Currently, this is now going legal. This is going legal. The case has been handed over to his lawyers. The case is now legal. The case is now going legal, and he can't speak because his lawyers have told him not to speak. But this is sure that this is now going legal. AIFF will not have it easy against his lawyers either. So at this point, the legal position is that if he speaks, they can use that against him and terminate, saying it's a breach of contract. But it is not termination yet, as long as he's not accepted it. So this is in a very interesting domain. He will go legal, but what I'm getting is Igor Stimac had given the AIFF the option that I will resign, no compensation needed, zero money needed. I will take the blame, but you also have to take the blame for failed promises. This campaign has failed because not only me, but you have also failed. Refereeing, you were not able to protect your national team against Iraq, against Malaysia, against Qatar. Repeatedly it has happened, and AIFF top brass needs to take the blame as well. That is the position that I am hearing from sources close. And I can also tell you that the case has now been entrusted to his lawyers. So this is not the end of the story. Will be quite interesting going forward. Will AIFF have to pay? Will Stimac's lawyer send them a notice? Will he accept it? Will he not accept it? What is the end result? Will there be a press conference in some days' time? We will monitor this story. And you have heard it first on Rev Sports, that Igor Stimac had given AIFF the option that I take the blame and resign. And yes, no compensation, zero money required, not even a month's salary, but you also resign because it is as much your responsibility. You were not able to protect the national team against refereeing howlers. Rahul, react to that.
Yeah, I think what coach is doing is I think that's the right step, because why should we should blame coach alone, because it's not only her own, not only his own fault. I think yes, I think he's totally right, because AIFF has promised him a lot
Rahul,
of
one
things.
second. Rahul, one second. Boryata, just to clarify, Igor Stimac is going legal also.
Yes, 100%. 100%. 100%. The case is now with his lawyers who have asked him not to say anything in public. He is going legal. No two ways about it. We have not seen the end of story. This is going legal, and this is going to be a tough legal battle. Yes.
Okay,
But
continue.
break it, Rohan, that the Stimac side of the story, don't quote because this is not a quote. The Stimac side of the story, sources tell me Stimac had given the AIFF the option that I will take the blame, I will resign, I don't want any compensation, but you'll also take the blame and resign. Let's collectively resign for a failed campaign. But it is not going to be that I resign and you guys save your chairs and not take any blame. Don't fire from my shoulders when you have not been able to protect the national team multiple times against refereeing problems. Qatar, Malaysia, Iraq, and he has that is what I'm getting. That is what I'm getting. Stimac is not wanting to talk or refusing to talk because his lawyers have told him not to talk at this point in time. He's clearly going to go legal. This is now a legal case.
I have tweeted it.
Yeah, I think why
Fair
should
enough.
should be blamed,
That's
because why
still
should Igor
breaking
be
the
the only
narrative.
scapegoat? I think why should Igor be the only scapegoat? Because AIFF had made multiple promises. Like even they have failed to convince the ISL clubs to release the players earlier, so that they can join the camp and Igor can have a long camp before a crucial tournament like AFC Asian Cup. Before AFC Asian Cup, the Indian team got only 13 days to train, and where is all the I think of the most of the teams like I think 12 to 13 Asian nation has gone to Qatar, I think around a month ago. So of course these are the things why Indian team has lacked over the years, and I think not only that, I think even AIFF has promised to organize friendly against some top nation, at least 1 to 2 friendly games in a year. But that also wasn't done by AIFF. So I think these are the things that Igor Sima should I think bring in the forefront. I think so that everyone should know what's going on. And if there are any corrupt official in the AIFF, I think they also need to be resigned to save the Indian football.
Ron?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there should be a fair decision on Stimac's side, Igor's side also, because whatever has been promised to him, he has not got everything. We have before the Asian Games also. The for Asian Games for the first match, he did not have the full team also. So many of the players reached afterwards. So there was various instances where Stimac did not get what he wanted. So I think it's a fair call on his part also to have these to have a legal standpoint where he can have a fair deal in this whole situation. He is not the only one to blame for this failure of this whole campaign. I think it is a fair call on his side.
Rahul, you take this further. I'll just make one more call a little bit more. You take this, I'll make one more call.
Yeah, right now at this moment, of course, I think the question that will go on in every football fan mind, that who will be our next coach, because over the last 5 years they had a lot of expectation from Igor Stimac, but Stimac has failed to live up to that expectation. So now, if you see that India gonna play, I think Intercontinental Cup in September, and after that, I think they will take part in the Betega Cup. I think for those two tournament, I think Mahesh Gowli will take the charge of the senior national team, uh, because I think it's a big decision for AIFF to replace Igor Stimac with some high profile coach. So for that, I think AIFF needs some time to decide who will be the best choice. So now I think it's the Mahesh Gowli who will take the charge, and of course there are many suggestions from the fans. A lot of names are also going on. Like someone is suggesting that someone should come from Korea or Japan, and but I will come to Rohan with one question that Rohan, the ISL clubs are paying some hefty amount to the coaches like Sergio Lobera, or they were paying, Mohan Bagan was paying to Antonio Lopez Habas, even Manolo Marquez. I think also he is also getting a hefty amount from FC Goa. So do you think that they will leave ISL club to join the national team of India if they get an offer?
I think AIFF will have to promise something much bigger. Have to show a bigger project to a coach, because only the monetary factor, is not the only factor that drives a uh, head coach of a national team. Because if you remember, Stimac talking to us of various contracts from better countries and better teams, but he has had a project in mind to take Indian football forward. So I think this is one project that every coach wants, alongside with the monetary funds. Of course, to compete with the ISL club in monetary terms is big, but also the AIFF has to show a good project ahead, where Indian football might be reaching the third round in the next World Cup qualifiers, or a knockout stage of an Asian Cup. So I think those things are also important to lure in a coach from an ISL club to a national side.
Should we
Duryodhani,
end this with a promise that we come back tomorrow, folks?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a developing story. This is not an ending story. I think
Not at all.
this story has just started, and I think this will be a long story, not a very quick ending one.
and also we'll come back, by doing some research with some of the great names, who can be a probable replacement, and who are currently are not coaching any national side, who are now currently sitting free, who can be probable replacement.
But again, to finish off, you heard it first. The Igor Stimac termination on Rev Sports. You heard it first. Stimac going legal. You heard it first. Stimac had given the option that you resign, I resign. No compensation. All developments first on Rev Sports. We will keep you posted. Developing story, as Rahul and Rohan says. But huge moment for Indian football. Huge moment. India parts ways with Igor Stimac. The coach now needs to decide what he will do. The case is with his lawyers. He's not speaking. AIFF will have to come up with something. There will be a press conference some days from now. The story has not ended. It has started. And Indian football once again finds itself in the dumps for all the wrong reasons. Now it's coach versus AIFF. Wow, what a story. What an evening. What an evening for Indian football. On a sad note, on a disappointed note, this is not what we expected. We expected third round. We did not get it. Now, clearly, not one person is to blame. So there has to be a lot that needs to be said now. Is T-Match the only person to blame? Is T-Match the scapegoat? Is T-Match the person who, if you get rid of him, everything will become good about Indian football? Think about it. Think about it. You've got rid of T-Match. Will it turn all hunky-dory tonight? We leave you with that thought. Rahul Giri and Rohan Chaudhary, thank you very much for joining me on Rev Sports. We will continue to build on this story and give you every update. Thank you very, very much for watching.